Sun hung low in the Texas sky, casting a warm golden hue across the small park stage where Mia Torres stood, her heart racing as she took in the vibrant festival around her. The air buzzed with laughter and chatter, but to her ears, it felt muffled, a distant echo that only highlighted her isolation. She adjusted her grip on the microphone, fingers trembling slightly as she surveyed the crowd assembling in anticipation of the show. Mia watched as friends joined together, their voices intertwined in the harmony of connection. Despite her younger brother Leo standing proudly nearby, she felt an overwhelming wave of loneliness. Leo had always been her anchor, her voice in a world filled with sound, but even his presence couldn't quiet the nagging doubts clawing at her heart. With each passing moment, her anxiety surged. Here under the open sky, she stood on the edge of something profound, yet a heavy fog of insecurity loomed. How could she take the stage when she couldn't hear the applause? The rhythm of excitement pulsing through the festival seemed to mock her silence, amplifying her feelings of being an outsider. Mia took a deep breath, pushing back the tide of self-doubt. She recalled the poetry she had penned in the quiet moments of her life, each word a piece of herself woven together through sign language. Her poetry articulated her longings, her struggles, her hopes for connection in a world that often overlooked her. Today, with the crowd breathing in unison, she yearned to share those pieces of her soul. Apprehension coiled deep within her, reminding her of the times she had faced confusion or even ridicule from others, their laughter resonating like shards of glass against her fragility. Those moments stung, whispering reminders of her inadequacies. She swallowed hard, fighting back the lump in her throat, letting her mind circle back to Leo, his encouraging gaze filled with unspoken support. "I can't do this," she mouthed silently, her heart aching with doubt. But Leo stepped forward, a beacon of hope, shaking his head firmly. Mia took his strength and used it to bolster her own, finding comfort in his belief in her. Taking a deep breath, she straightened her back, summoning the countless hours she had spent nurturing her art. This was her moment to reclaim her voice and share the stories that pulsed within her. The distant music began to fade, drawing her focus inward. This was the time to show the world the beauty she held inside. In a quiet surge of determination, Mia stepped closer to the microphone. She felt the energy of the festival all around her, the warmth of summer, the sweet aroma of festival treats. And finally, she began to sign her poetry, movements flowing gracefully, hoping that her words might touch even one soul amongst the masses. With every gesture, she opened herself up, releasing each piece of her heart into the world. This was her truth, her chance to be seen and heard in a way only she could convey. In the silence of the soul, love finds its voice. As Mia stood on the precarious edge of her present, memories of her childhood washed over her like a familiar melody, pulling her back to sunlit days where laughter echoed in a world that welcomed her embrace. Imperfect yet full of love, the warmth of nostalgic afternoons swept through her thoughts, illuminating moments that shaped the artist she had become. In her mind's eye, Mia saw the bustling kitchen of their small family home, where the air was rich with the smell of tortilla soup simmering on the stove. Her mother hummed softly to a classic Strait cassette tape playing in the background, the soulful twang wrapping around them like a warm blanket. The gentle strumming of a guitar mingled seamlessly with her mother's voice, creating a harmony that resonated deeply. Mia, tucked under the kitchen table, would watch her mother's hands move to the rhythm of the music, her fingers dancing gracefully as if signing the lyrics themselves. Mia and Leo would often join in, their tiny hands mimicking their mother's movements, weaving stories into the air with vibrant gestures. Those evenings crystallized in her memory, each note lingering like a soft echo of joy, soothing her heart and marking the beginning of her love for words and expression. They transformed her the moment she discovered that her voice could take many forms, even without sound. As the memories unfurled, Mia recalled her younger self, unashamed, freely performing for her family, crafting poems that poured forth in raw emotion and unrefined honesty. She could still feel the warmth of their supportive gazes, like sunlight streaming through an open window. Her father would nod, pride shining in his eyes, while Leo's laughter was a chorus of encouragement. It felt as if they were all a part of the story she was writing, that her art was a shared family treasure. But time moved on, and with it, change came like an unforgiving tide. There were days in classrooms filled with curious faces when Mia felt the shadows of doubt creeping in. When her peers would chatter excitedly, she would sit quietly in the corner, struggling to understand the words, the silent barrier gnawing at her youthful heart. She vividly remembered a moment when, in a group project, a classmate had ridiculed her for using sign language, mocking the way her hands moved. It cut deep, igniting a flicker of shame, a sensation foreign in the warmth of her family home, where her voice was celebrated. Those moments wrapped around her like cold chains, impeding her spirit and tethering her to the ground, leaving her feelings ensnared in a web of isolation instead of lifting her higher. Still, she clung to the joy she found in writing. In the pages of worn notebooks filled with fragments of her heart, her poetry became a refuge, a sanctuary where she could pour her feelings without fear of judgment. In the midst of these memories, a soft, reassuring presence emerged. George Strait's voice, the echo of his timeless songs linking Mia to her childhood dreams. He was not just a name. He represented the journey she aimed to traverse, the road she wished to take to find her own voice amidst a chorus of sound. The soothing tones of his music lingered in her heart, guiding her through wounding experiences and frustrations with a familiar embrace. Mia shook off the remnants of painful memories and focused instead on the foundation her family had built: unwavering support and endless encouragement. Leo, always nearby, had been a constant source of strength. He would sit beside her on countless nights, listening intently as she shared her poetry, urging her to find confidence in her words. Between giggles and quiet talks, he became not only her brother, but her biggest champion, translating her poetry into the rhythm of shared dreams. Recalling those moments sprouted resilience within Mia's heart. Perhaps, she thought, the painful experiences would lead her towards a reconnection with her artistry. Leaning into those formative years, she realized that even through pain, the stitched-together pieces of her past provided a solid ground for her to stand on as she ventured into the poetry of the night. With a deep inhale, Mia turned her focus back to the present, her heart craving the raw connection that her past had laid out for her. As Leo and the burgeoning festival filled her gaze once more, she felt the pang of purpose ignite, a calling to not only share her voice, but to reclaim it. No more would she deny herself the fullness of life that awaited her, a world ready to understand her and the depth of her art. In this festival of voices and music, the echoes of her childhood intertwined with the dreams of her future, whispering promises of a transformative journey ahead. As the sun began to set and the festival lights twinkled into view, Mia clenched her fists, her spirit ignited. With each heartbeat, she drew strength from memories nestled in her heart, ready to be fully present in her moment. She would step onto that stage, not just to share her poetry, but to inspire others to embrace the beauty of acceptance and connection. The atmosphere transformed as dusk settled over the festival, casting everything in warm, golden light that felt both magical and haunting. Mia stood backstage, her heartbeat syncing with the distant strums of a guitar. The crowd swelled with excitement, their energy a living pulse. Yet for Mia, that vibrancy remained a distant echo, turbulent waves of anxiety crashing against her calm. Moments stretched like shadows as memories of the past clawed at her heart. What if she choked? What if the audience didn't understand her or worse, laughed at her? The barrage of self-doubt loomed large, drowning out the optimistic noise of enthusiasm surrounding her. From backstage, Mia spotted Leo in the front row. His unwavering smile was a beacon of warmth and support, radiating confidence that bolstered her resolve. Yet insecurity surged within her like a wild tide, pulling her back. She looked down at her hands, trembling slightly, as a familiar grip of fear entwined with her thoughts. A voice interrupted the storm of her mind. "Mia, it's time," the stage manager said, cutting through the haze of anxiety. With a deep breath, Mia pushed herself forward, feeling the weight of the moment settle on her shoulders. This was her chance, anticipated, yet daunting. The clamor of applause swelled around her as she stepped into the spotlight, the lights blinding. Faces blurred, all she could hear was the steady thrum of anticipation. In the crowd, she found Leo's eyes again, packed with encouragement. With that connection anchoring her, she reclaimed her breath and straightened her posture. Now was not the moment to falter. Within her, a flicker of childhood whisper urged her forward. Share, feel, connect. Mia lifted her hands to sign her poetry, merging her past and present in an intricate dance of emotion. As the first words took shape in the air, a profound silence fell over the crowd, and she felt a sense of release. The familiar fears began to recede as warmth enveloped her in turn. In those movements, Mia began to perceive the audience transforming from distant onlookers into compassionate witnesses. The impactful vulnerability embedded in her words tugged at the heartstrings of their humanity, creating an intricate web of connection. Laughter that once felt menacing emerged, not from mockery but from empathy, and with every signed gesture, the audience found resonance in her struggles and triumphs. But as she approached a poignant line, the embodiment of her loneliness and longing for understanding, self-doubt flickered anew. Would they still respond when she laid her heart bare? A hush overtook the crowd, amplifying her vulnerability. Seconds dragged, the silence felt heavy, crushing sheets of anxiety settling tightly around her. Then, a ripple of soft applause surged forth, a gentle wave of encouragement that rekindled her spirit. It washed over Mia, soothing her self-inflicted wounds with the balm of acceptance. Finding her courage, she poured her heart into every sign, reconnecting her essence with theirs, angst transforming into shared humanity. As she concluded, the applause erupted like fireworks, a blend of sharers and seekers celebrating together. The warmth of acceptance enveloped her like a familiar embrace, and a sense of belonging blossomed within her heart. Mia stepped off the stage, her adrenaline coursing through her veins. She had defied the constraints of fear and emerged into the light, the boundaries dissolved against a backdrop of human experience. In the thrumming chaos of the festival, Leo rushed toward her, pulling her into a warm embrace. His face was lit with pride, a reflection of her own newfound strength. "You were amazing," he beamed, his excitement electrifying. As they stood there amidst the jubilant crowd, Mia realized this was more than performance. It was about reclaiming her voice, about healing through connection. She felt liberated, an empowering rebirth ignited through sharing her truth. In that moment, darkness receded further, memories of loneliness and pain transforming into lessons of resilience and courage. The path ahead gleamed brightly with the potential of newfound connections and shared stories, reminding her that even in vulnerability lies immense strength. Mia turned to face the festival, a newfound determination pulsating within her. She wasn't just a poet, she was a vessel of stories waiting to be told, and as the lights twinkled above, she understood that she could embrace the fullness of life. The journey was only just beginning. The festival continued to buzz with life as Mia stepped into the warm embrace of her brother Leo, the echoes of applause still resonating in her ears. The adrenaline from her performance surged through her, electrifying her senses. For a moment, she stood still, savoring the sweet taste of acceptance and connection. But then, the enchanting atmosphere beckoned her to explore further, inviting her deeper into the heart of the celebration. "Let's celebrate!" Leo shouted over the lively music, his enthusiasm infectious. His face radiated joy, and Mia couldn't help but smile widely, their laughter mingling with the sounds of jubilant celebration surrounding them. They meandered through the festival grounds, where vibrant stalls offered delicious food and handmade crafts. With cotton candy in hand, Mia felt lighter, as if the weight of her insecurities had been subsequently lifted. The glow of fairy lights strung overhead created a magical ambience, illuminating both the festival and their spirits. As they walked, Mia spotted a collection of artists showcasing their works. Colorful canvases adorned with whimsical depictions of life drew Mia in. The energy of creativity ignited something within her. Approaching a booth, she admired a painting that captured the essence of connection. Two figures intertwined, their profiles blooming like flowers in the sunlight. With wonder rippling through her, Mia turned to the artist, an older woman whose eyes twinkled with passion. "That's beautiful," Mia said, her voice earnest. "It feels so alive." The artist smiled warmly, her hands stained with paint. Art has a way of capturing what lies in our hearts. Conversations we often struggle to express find their freedom through our brushes. Mia felt the truth seep into her bones, resonating like a well-tuned string. "I understand that feeling," she replied, her gaze shifting back to the painting. "It connects us in ways we might not fully comprehend." As they chatted, Mia felt a new sense of purpose bubbling inside. The artist shared stories of her artistic journey, one filled with challenges and triumphs. Moments of doubt seemed to fade away as they spoke, carried off like wisps of smoke. "What inspired you to create?" Mia inquired, genuinely curious. The artist's expression brightened. "Life, my dear. Every challenge I faced made me realize that through art, I could heal and help heal others." Mia was struck by how tightly their stories intertwined through art and expression. Clearly, she had found a kindred spirit. "I just performed some poetry for the first time tonight," she said, her heart swelling. "It felt like a rebirth." "A rebirth indeed," the artist echoed, her smile wide. "Remember, every time you create, it's an opportunity to blossom anew." In that moment, Mia understood. The stage was just one facet of her artistry. Inspired by the enduring connection between expression and experience, Mia decided to find a way to blend her poetry with visual artistry, exploring the fullness of her voice beyond the boundaries she once imposed. "Thank you for sharing your story with me," Mia said, her voice strong, filled with determination. Leo stood nearby, witnessing the encounter unfold, pride swelling in his heart at how Mia was discovering her potential. "You're glowing," he exclaimed as they walked away, cotton candy remnants on his fingertips. "Everything feels different," she replied. "It's like I can see the colors now. The beauty of expression is all around." As they continued to explore, Mia began to notice how every encounter threaded into a larger story, each interaction igniting the embers of creativity within her. They exchanged warm smiles with fellow festival-goers and engaged in laughter-filled conversations that felt electric. Every voice underscored the powerful notion of shared human experience, a dance of vulnerability and connection she was ready to embrace further. Later, they approached an enormous bonfire that flickered and danced, casting shadows around a small gathering of people sharing stories and singing together. The gathering was intimate, a blend of music and warmth wrapping around them like a welcoming hug. As they settled at the fire's edge, Leo encouraged Mia. "Why not share another poem? The moment is ripe." Mia hesitated, momentarily pulled back by the fear that once haunted her, but a soft voice echoed in her head. "Art has a way of capturing what lies in our hearts." In that warmth, she felt the familiar tingle of hope fluttering in her chest. With a deep breath, she stood and faced the small circle. "I'd like to share something new inspired by today," she announced, her heart racing yet resolute. The fire danced in celebration as she began to sign her poem, words cascading through her fingers, flowing like the flame's passionate flicker. She spoke of rebirth, of connection, of the beauty found in vulnerability. Her hands wove images of shared moments, memories surfacing like treasured roots, blossoming into radiant flowers. As she finished, she observed the faces around her reflecting admiration and understanding. The fire popped and crackled, a rhythm to the heartbeat of their gathering, echoing her triumph. Mia felt warmth enveloping her, mingling with profound gratitude and acceptance. Applause broke softly like waves against the shore, reverberating around her. In that moment, she felt fully alive, tethered to everyone surrounding her. It was not merely a celebration of her performance, it was the recognition of a collective journey toward healing through art. Mia returned to her spot beside Leo, who was beaming with pride. "You were magnificent," he whispered, pulling her close. The warmth of connection lingered in the air, far surpassing any doubts she once held. In that moment, amidst laughter, stories, and the crackling fire, Mia realized she was on a path that would unfurl endlessly before her, a tapestry woven from newfound purpose and connection. In the symphony of voices, a chorus of shared experiences, Mia discovered the art of existence, an intricate journey fueled by connection, creativity, and collaboration. The past had paved the way to this moment, a rebirth ringing true. Mia smiled widely, her heart light and free. The night was just beginning, and so was she. As the festival continued through the night, laughter and song filled the air, wrapping Mia in a blanket of warmth, yet deep within, shadows lurked. Amidst the euphoria of her newfound connection to art and community, she felt a heaviness creep back in, whispering reminders of self-doubt and insecurity. Weeks passed, and the festival faded into memory, but Mia's commitment to her artistry intensified. She spent days writing and signing her poetry, drawing inspiration from her experiences and her conversations with Leo and the festival's attendees. The more she created, the more her confidence grew. Yet in those quiet moments, a nagging fear clung to her. Could she sustain this growth? Was she truly worthy of being heard? One afternoon, she sat at a small cafe table, sunlight streaming through the window, casting a golden hue over her notebook. Each word flowed effortlessly as she crafted new verses about resilience and rebirth. But as she penned the final line, an unsettling thought intruded, darkening her page. What if her voice wasn't enough? What if her words didn't resonate as they once had? Taking a deep breath, she attempted to shake off the weight of doubt. Just then, Leo entered the cafe near the back, waving enthusiastically. After ordering a coffee, he slid into the chair opposite her. "What are you working on?" he asked, a bright smile illuminating his face. Mia hesitated, thoughts swirling. For a moment she wanted to hide her page, to shield it from judgment. "Just some new poetry," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. "Can I read it?" he asked, genuinely curious. Fear gripped her heart once again, and Mia shook her head. "I'm not ready. What if it's not good enough?" Leo leaned forward, concern furrowing his brow. "You have to be open to sharing your voice, Mia. Remember the festival. People connected with your words there. You can't let fear be a barrier." "But I'm afraid," she confessed, her voice trembling. "What if I fail? What if they don't understand?" Leo's gaze remained steady. "What if you fly? You have so much to offer. Each poem, each word has a piece of you in it. If you shy away from sharing them, you're robbing us of your truth." His words settled heavy within her, igniting a swirl of conflicting emotions. Mia wanted to believe him, but felt an oppressive weight of self-doubt overshadowing his encouragement. Days turned into weeks, and Mia struggled to balance the blossoming creativity with the insidious doubts that halted her progress. Every time she sat down to write, the nagging voice echoed in her ear. She attended local poetry slams, but could only watch from the sidelines, watching others share their work with confidence, their stories painting vulnerability in the air. One day, while perusing social media, she stumbled upon a post about an upcoming regional poetry competition, a chance for aspiring artists to share their work on a grander scale. Excitement mingled with trepidation, stirring hope deep inside her heart. But anticipation quickly shifted to anxiety. As she shared the news with Leo, she felt anxious energy brimming in her chest. "What do you think?" she asked, her voice wavering. "Should I enter?" Leo's eyes lit up. "Absolutely, Mia. This is your moment to shine. You've grown so much and you have the talent to compete with other artists. This could be the breakthrough you've been waiting for." Her heart fluttered at his encouragement, yet uncertainty loomed heavily. "But what if I fail? What if they don't connect with my words?" she whispered, a lump forming in her throat. "Mia," Leo said, leaning closer, his tone earnest. "Every artist faces rejection. It's part of the journey. But growth comes from exposure, from putting yourself out there. You'll never know your strength unless you face the fear. Promise me you'll take this chance." Mia nodded, feeling both terror and exhilaration. Yet, as the date approached, her resolve began to waver. Days turned into sleepless nights, and the poem she meant to prepare felt like a mountain she couldn't climb. Sitting in her room one evening, the weight of anxiety settled upon her once again. She flipped through her notes but found herself unable to focus. Gripping her pen tightly, she closed her eyes, wishing to silence the storm within. Just then, a familiar phrase echoed in her mind. "Art has a way of capturing what lies in our hearts." In a moment of clarity, she grabbed her notebook, allowing her fingers to dance across the page. A rush of sentiments poured out. Fear, hope, vulnerability, and ultimately resilience. Words cascaded from her heart, and the poem began to take shape. Yet, as she wrote about the beauty of overcoming challenges, her mind betrayed her. Doubt seeped back in, whispering wicked thoughts that sent her spiraling. Just as she felt a breakthrough, the old fears resurfaced, darkening the enthusiasm that had once kindled within her soul. Before she had a chance to cement the words on the page, Mia scrunched the paper in frustration, tears prickling her eyes. "Why can't this be easier?" she murmured, the battle between inspiration and self-doubt feeling insurmountable. The next day, she found herself standing before the mirror, facing her reflection with apprehension. Tomorrow was the competition, and she hadn't finalized her piece. The thought of standing on stage again gripped her with terror. Yet, Amid the anxiety lurked a small ember of determination. "Remember the warmth of the audience," she recalled, closing her eyes. "Remember their acceptance and the beauty of connection." She took a deep breath, clenching her fists, feeling the warmth throb beneath her skin. As the sun set that evening, painting the skies in hues of purple and gold, Mia found her resolve. Tomorrow she would show up, not just for the audience but for herself. The pain and challenges she faced would not define her. They were mere stepping stones. Opening her notebook, she scrawled the final lines of her poem, breathing life into the emotions that swirled within her. No matter the outcome, she would honor her journey and her voice, embracing the transformative power music and poetry held. With a flicker of hope illuminating her heart, Mia understood. Every shadow required light to breathe, and she would step into the spotlight, even if the anxiety lingered beside her. Tomorrow would mark a new chapter of courage and self-acceptance. The stage awaited. All she had to do was embrace the unfolding journey ahead. The next day dawned crisp and clear, the sun rising with a bright promise that seemed to mirror Mia's own flickers of hope. She awoke to the sound of birds chirping outside her window, their melodies weaving a backdrop of serene possibility. The competition loomed ahead, and though the shadow of anxiety still clung to her, a newfound determination pulsed within her veins. Mia dressed carefully, choosing an outfit that felt both comfortable and uplifting, a soft blue dress that reminded her of the clear sky. The moment she caught her reflection in the mirror, she felt a rush of determination, the strength of her journey glowing through her eyes. Today would be the day she shared her truth. Arriving at the venue, Mia's excitement was tinged with butterflies fluttering wildly in her stomach. The auditorium buzzed with voices and laughter. A mixed crowd of aspiring poets and curious spectators gathered to witness the unfolding talent. Wooden beams and twinkling fairy lights framed the stage, welcoming yet simultaneously formidable. She wandered through the crowd, absorbing the atmosphere, colors, sounds, laughter, all mingling together, creating a vibrant tapestry representing creativity and artistry. The sound of applause echoed liltingly, igniting a spark in her heart as she imagined the connection they might all share. Each poet that went on stage moved her deeply, their vulnerability filled with the rich textures of human experience. But with each performance, the doubts itched closer to the surface. She felt a familiar stab of insecurity. As the minutes slipped by, Mia's thoughts darkened. What if she wasn't good enough? What if the audience didn't relate to her words? She pressed her palms against her thighs, grounding herself in the present moment. The event's host, a charismatic figure with a passionate voice, finally called her name. "Next up, we have Mia Collins." Her heart raced as she stepped toward the stage, every heartbeat a crescendo of anticipation. At that moment, anxiety and exhilaration tangled uncontrollably, yet the flame of purpose propelled her forward. The stage glowed under the lights, illuminating her path, and she was suddenly struck by the sense that she was not alone. She felt the supportive energy of Leo, friends from the festival, and the community she had so courageously embraced resonating through her. Taking a deep inhale, she approached the microphone, her hands trembling but resolute. The audience watched in hushed anticipation as she gazed out over the sea of faces. Some looked hopeful, eager to connect, while others appeared contemplative, reflective. She took another breath, her heart thundering under the sheen of her dress. "Hello, everyone," Mia began, her voice steady despite the tremor beneath. "Thank you for being here with me today. This poem is an expression of my journey through shadows toward the light." As she transitioned into the rhythms of her poem, each word sang forth with newfound clarity. She spoke about vulnerability, the scars that remind us of how far we've come. She recited lines that delved into fears and aspirations, exploring the intricate dance of human existence. Her hands fluttered gracefully as she illustrated the imagery woven into the verses, reverberating the essence of rebirth and connection. With every word, Mia began to feel liberated. The audience leaned in closer, hanging onto her every sign, their expressions mirroring the emotions she projected, an exchange of energy that filled her soul. And as she poured her heart into the final lines, she felt the weight of all her doubts begin to dissolve, transforming into supportive waves of acceptance. As she concluded, the air thrummed with silence for just a brief moment before applause erupted like a tidal wave crashing against the shore. The sound washed over Mia, enveloping her in an exhilarating embrace. She stood there momentarily frozen as the reality settled in. She had done it. She had shared her voice, and they had embraced her. Tears prickled in her eyes. They were tears of relief and joy, a catharsis of emotions come to fruition. She bowed her head, overwhelmed, and stepped back from the microphone, feeling light as air. The moment almost felt surreal as she turned to exit the stage, her heart still hammering with exhilaration. As she descended the steps, Leo was waiting, his proud smile radiating warmth. He pulled her into a tight embrace. "You were incredible. I knew you could do it." Mia laughed, her heart dancing with gratitude. "I can't believe I actually went through with it." For minutes that felt like a lifetime, they celebrated. The applause, the fond reactions from the audience, everything blended together into a canvas of connection and affirmation. In that moment, it became clear to everyone present that Mia had transcended the fears that once shackled her heart, embracing her artistry in its rawest form. Later, as she settled at a small table with festival-goers sharing stories of their inspirations and experiences, Mia felt a sense of belonging that had been absent before. They recounted moments of vulnerability and the fear of sharing their truth, revealing the deep-seated desire for acceptance that connected them all. The conversations flowed seamlessly, each participant lifting one another, creating a circle of support that was intoxicating. By the end of the night, Mia realized she had not only shared her poetry, but also absorbed the transformative power of community. Each person brought their own unique narratives and heartaches, sewing together an intricate tapestry of shared human experience, and she was now a vital thread in that fabric. Stepping outside the venue, the air was crisp, and the stars sparkled like diamonds in the vast sky. Martha's coal-black hair danced gently in the breeze as she turned to gaze at Mia, her eyes alight with admiration. "You've found your voice," she said softly. Mia beamed, the weight of self-doubt growing lighter. "And I'll never let fear silence me again," she replied resolutely. In that moment she understood that her journey of artistry was bound to be ongoing, one of continual exploration and sharing, of connections built through vulnerability. With a heart full of hope, Mia turned toward tomorrow, ready to unravel the uncharted horizons ahead. As the stars twinkled above in affirmation, she felt an internal urge surging forth, a calling she was finally prepared to answer. Every word written, every note sung would weave their way into the tapestry of her life, and she would embrace every piece of it in gratitude. Mia smiled at the expansive sky, resolute and free, for she had risen. In the weeks that followed the competition, Mia's world blossomed. The thrill of performing had ignited a fierce passion within her, one that was fueled further by encouragement from Leo and new friendships formed within her artistic community. Each day was filled with opportunities, open mic nights, collaborative writing sessions, and conversations rich with creativity. On a sun-drenched afternoon, Mia found herself sitting on a weathered bench in the town park, where the scent of blooming flowers filled the air. She absorbed the vibrant atmosphere and focused on her notebook, pen dancing across the page. The words flowed freely, capturing her thoughts on resilience and connection, her experiences transforming into powerful verses. Leo approached her, a wide grin lighting up his face. "Guess what? I got us tickets to the regional art showcase next month. There's an opportunity for you to perform." Mia's heart leaped. "Wow, that sounds incredible. But am I really ready? It's a bigger audience." "Absolutely. You've already proven yourself at the competition. You have a voice that needs to be heard," Leo encouraged, his enthusiasm infectious. As the date of the showcase grew closer, exhilaration mingled with anxiety. Mia practiced daily, but whispers of self-doubt crept in. "What if I trip? What if no one connects with my words?" she confided to Leo one evening as they sipped coffee in their favorite cafe. "Mia, your voice is powerful. The audience will see your passion. Remember, storytelling is about sharing experiences. Yours resonates," Leo reassured her, his gaze unwavering. Mia took his words to heart, vowing to embrace the performance as a celebration of growth rather than a test. She began exploring deeper themes in her work, interlacing her poetry with emotions that pulled from her journey of vulnerability and triumph. On the day of the showcase, the venue buzzed with expectation. A whirlwind of nervous energy swirled within her as she watched the other performers, each displaying unique narratives and heartfelt expressions. They all reminded her of why she loved art, the power it had to connect people. When it was finally her turn, Mia stepped onto the stage, the spotlight warming her face. Instantly, she felt the weight of the room's presence, and a rush of connection washed over her. She shared her poetry, each line a blend of honesty and aspiration, revealing the struggles she had faced and the joys she had discovered. As Mia poured her heart into her performance, the audience leaned in, lost in the rhythm and emotion of her words. Their reactions, laughter, sighs, and nods spurred her on, anchoring her spirit in the warmth of shared experience. With each stanza, the anxieties that plagued her began to fade, replaced by a sense of belonging. When she finished, applause erupted like a wave, drowning her in a shower of affirming energy. Tears of joy welled in her eyes as she took a bow, grateful for the acceptance that enveloped her. Stepping off the stage, she was met by Leo, who wrapped her in a tight embrace. "You were phenomenal. I'm so proud of you." For the rest of the night, Mia mingled with attendees, each interaction reaffirming her journey. People shared how her words had resonated with their own lives, stories of challenges, dreams, and relationships. The atmosphere buzzed with an electric energy of connection, one that stitched the audience together in a vibrant tapestry of shared experiences. As she stepped outside into the crisp night air, a brilliant sky dotted with stars greeted her. The universe seemed to celebrate her achievements, and she knew she had found a deeper purpose within her art. Leo stood beside her, beaming. "You did it! You've embraced your gift." Mia smiled, her heart swelling with gratitude. "I've realized that my voice is a tool for connection. I won't let fear prevent me from sharing it again." In that moment, she felt empowered and free, eager to continue her journey. With renewed purpose, Mia looked toward the horizon, ready to embrace the next chapter of her life, one that promised exploration, creativity, and the remarkable power of human connection.